Captain Han stood tall on the bridge of the Horizon Earth's most advanced exploratory vessel. His dark eyes scanned the view screen, taking in the massive alien ship that had just appeared before them. This was it, humanity's first contact with the Galactic Union. "All systems ready, Captain," said Tai from the pilot's seat. His fingers hovered over the controls, ready for anything. "Good," Han nodded. "Dr. Ji, are you prepared for the meeting?" Dr. Ji looked up from her datapad. "Yes, Captain. I've reviewed all first contact protocols." She adjusted her science uniform, excitement making her hands tremble slightly. "Remember," Han said to his crew, "we represent all of Earth today." The communication system beeped. A voice spoke in perfect English. "Human vessel, prepare for boarding. Union representatives request peaceful dialogue." Han straightened his jacket. "Permission granted." 20 minutes later, the human delegation waited in the Horizon's conference room. The door slid open. 5 alien beings entered, each different from the others. The leader appeared humanoid, with blue skin and 4 arms. "I am Ambassador Krill of the Galactic Union. We welcome humans to the galactic community." Captain Han stepped forward to respond, but his words died in his throat. Behind Ambassador Krill stood the largest of the aliens. It was over 2 meters tall with dark red skin. 6 yellow eyes blinked from its massive head. Sharp spines covered its broad shoulders. 4 muscular arms ended in clawed hands. Its mouth revealed rows of pointed teeth when it breathed. "Oh my goodness!" Han suddenly exclaimed, his face lighting up with delight. "Who is that adorable one in the back?" The aliens froze. Ambassador Krill's 4 hands twitched nervously. "Captain Han, that is Commander Gruck of the Graknar Defense Force. He is our security officer." Han moved past the ambassador and approached the massive alien. "Hello there. Your species is fascinating. Those spines are amazing." Dr. Ji quickly joined her captain, pulling out a small device. "May I scan you? Your biological structure is remarkable." Her eyes were wide with wonder. "Those teeth formations are simply adorable." Commander Gruck took a step back, all 6 of his yellow eyes blinking rapidly in confusion. He looked at Ambassador Krill. "What is happening?" His deep voice rumbled. Ta sighed from where he stood. "I apologize for my colleagues. Captain Han collects plushies of alien creatures, and Dr. G studies unusual biology. They get excited." "Plushies?" Ambassador Krill asked, antenna twitching. "Soft toys," Tai explained. "Captain Han has a collection of stuffed animals that look like monsters. He thinks they're cute." Commander Gruck's mouth opened and closed several times. "I am a warrior. I have conquered 12 planets. My species is feared across 3 sectors." "Really?" Han asked, grinning widely. "That's so impressive. Would you mind if I took a picture with you? My niece loves creatures with extra eyes and teeth. She'll be so jealous." The diplomatic meeting descended into chaos. The Union representatives huddled together, whispering frantically. Words like insane, fearless, and mentally unstable floated across the room. Dr. Jui approached them, still scanning. "Your biological diversity is fascinating. Do all Union species have such wonderful anatomical features?" Ambassador Krill cleared his throat. "Captain Han, is this normal behavior for humans?" "What do you mean?" Han asked, confused. "You find Commander Gruck cute?" "Well, yes," Han replied. "Those spines, multiple eyes, and that rich red color, it's wonderful. On Earth, we adore creatures with unique features." The Union representatives exchanged worried glances. "Captain," Ta whispered, "I think you're scaring them." "That's impossible," Han said, waving his hand dismissively. "Commander Gruck is the scary one here. Isn't that right, Commander?" He smiled brightly at the towering alien. Commander Gruck stood perfectly still, all 6 eyes wide. "The humans find me adorable." "Absolutely. Dr. J confirmed enthusiastically. "You're magnificent." Ambassador Krill straightened his forearms. "I believe," he said slowly, "that we need to reassess our understanding of human psychology before proceeding." And so began humanity's strange entry into galactic society, where the first official record in the Union archives noted, "Caution. Humans exhibit inexplicable affection toward terrifying entities. Approach with extreme confusion." 1 month after first contact, Ambassador Kim welcomed the Galactic Union delegation to his home in Seoul. He had spent days preparing for this important meeting. "Please enter," Kim said with a warm smile, opening his door wide. "I am honored to host you." Elder Xith led the alien group. The tall, thin alien looked like a mix between a praying mantis and a scorpion. His 6 legs clicked on the floor as he entered. "We appreciate your hospitality, Ambassador Kim," Elder Xith said. His voice sounded like dry leaves rustling. Behind him, 4 other Union representatives entered cautiously. They had been warned about humans and their strange behavior. "I've prepared refreshments," Kim said, leading them to the living room. "Please make yourselves comfortable." The aliens stopped suddenly. Elder Xith's body went rigid. "Is something wrong?" Kim asked, concerned. "Ambassador," Elder Xith's voice trembled slightly. "There is a predator on your furniture." Kim looked where the alien was pointing. His large orange cat was sleeping on the couch. "Oh, that's just Sun, my cat. She's harmless." Kim walked over and picked up the cat, which yawned, showing sharp teeth. "Would you like to pet her? She's very friendly." The Union representatives backed away. "You keep predators in your home?" asked a blue-skinned alien with 4 arms. Kim looked confused. "Of course. Many humans have pets." He placed Sun back on the couch. "I have others too. Would you like to see?" Before they could answer, a young human entered the room carrying a data pad. "Ambassador Kim, I've brought the cultural exchange documents," said Do, the junior xenoanthropologist. He nodded respectfully to the aliens. "Perfect timing," Kim said. "Our guests seem interested in our pets." Do looked surprised. "Did you show them your collection already?" Elder Xith's antenna twitched. "Collection?" Kim smiled proudly. "Yes, please, follow me." He led the nervous aliens down a hallway to a room filled with glass containers of various sizes. Inside each one was a creature that made the Union representatives freeze in horror. "This is my black widow spider," Kim said, pointing to a small glass box with a black spider inside. "And here are my snakes. The large one is a python. Isn't she beautiful?" The aliens stared in silent shock at the dozen containers holding creatures with fangs, scales, multiple legs, and stingers. "You collect these dangerous animals?" Elder Xith finally asked. "They're not dangerous if you care for them properly," Kim explained. "I've loved exotic creatures since I was a child." Don't notice the alien's discomfort. "Perhaps we should return to the living room," he suggested quietly. Back in the living room, Elder Xith seemed deep in thought. "Ambassador Kim, we've observed something unusual about humans. You seem to form attachments to beings that other species find terrifying." Kim looked surprised. "Really? I suppose many of our pets might seem scary if you're not used to them." "It's more than that," another alien said. "Your captain hand called Commander Gruck adorable. Commander Gruck has conquered 12 planets." "Well, those extra eyes are quite charming," Kim said with a smile. "And his spines are very impressive." Do watched the exchange with growing interest. He made notes on his datapad. "Do all humans feel this way about frightening creatures?" Elder Xith asked. "Most of us appreciate unique life forms," Kim explained. "There's beauty in all species." After the aliens left, Do approached Ambassador Kim. "Sir, I believe I've identified something important about human psychology. Our reaction to what others consider monstrous could be significant for our place in the galactic community." Kim nodded. "Make a full report. If the Union thinks we're strange now, wait until they see our monster movies. The ones where humans root for the giant lizards to win. Doe smiled. I believe we may have found our diplomatic advantage, sir. The things others fear, we love. Meanwhile, on the alien ship, Elder Sith sent an urgent message to Union headquarters. Humans require further study. They willingly share their homes with predators and find terror endearing. This trait could make them either the most dangerous or most valuable species we have encountered. Perhaps both. Director Sung stood proudly at the entrance of Earth's largest dangerous species conservation center. Today was important. A group of Union observers would tour the facility. This was their chance to show how humans protected species that others feared. Welcome to our sanctuary, Director Sung said as the alien visitors approached. We care for over 300 species here. Union observer Zith blinked his 4 eyes nervously. Your government documents say these are dangerous creatures. Many are endangered, Sung explained. We help them survive. Jun, the center's expert handler, joined the group. Today we're feeding the venomous section. You're just in time to watch. The aliens followed cautiously as Jun led them into a large building. Inside, the walls were lined with habitats of different sizes. Strange, frightening creatures moved inside each one. This is our pride and joy, Jun said, stopping at a large enclosure. Inside was a massive creature with 8 legs, black scales, and glowing red eyes. The Brazilian nightmare spider, only 20 left in the wild. We've bred 15 more here. Zith moved behind the other aliens. It has venom. Oh yes, Jun said happily. Enough to kill 30 humans with 1 bite. Isn't she beautiful? He pressed his face close to the glass. Hello, gorgeous. The spider moved toward Jun, pressing against the glass. Jun made kissing sounds at it. You like this creature? Another alien observer asked in shock. Of course, Jun said. Look at those leg patterns and those eyes. So pretty when they glow. Director Sung smiled at the confused aliens. Many of our handlers develop special bonds with their charges. They moved to the next habitat. This one contained a serpent-like creature with 3 heads, each showing sharp fangs. The triple threat viper, Jun said proudly. This little sweetie can spit acid up to 15 meters. Little sweetie, Zith repeated, backing away further. Jun nodded enthusiastically. Watch this. He put on a protective glove and opened a small door in the habitat. The serpent raised all 3 heads, hissing. Jun reached in calmly, stroking one of the heads. To the alien's surprise, the creature seemed to lean into his touch. They need physical contact to stay healthy, Jun explained. We handle each one daily. They're really just big babies. As they continued the tour, the aliens watched in disbelief as handlers cuddled with creatures that had deadly spikes, poison glands, and massive teeth. Suddenly, an alarm sounded. Red lights flashed throughout the building. Containment breach in Sector 7. A voice announced over speakers. Razorback scorpion loose in the east hallway. The aliens froze in terror. Zith's legs began shaking. Stay here, Director Sung said calmly. Jun, let's go. But before they could move, a creature scuttled into the room. It was the size of a small dog, with metallic blue armor, 10 legs tipped with sharp points, and a tail that ended in a curved stinger dripping green liquid. The aliens pressed against the wall, trying to escape. But Jun smiled widely. There you are, you little troublemaker, he said in a sweet voice. He knelt down and held out his hand. Come here, sweetie. To everyone's shock, the scorpion creature moved toward Jun, its legs clicking on the floor. It climbed onto his arm and settled there. Good boy, Jun said, petting its hard shell. Who's a good escape artist? You are. Jun looked up at the terrified aliens and pulled out a small device. Let me take a picture for our visitor book. Can you all squeeze in closer to Mr. Tickles here? The Union observers remained frozen against the wall. They're shy, Director Sung explained to June. Then he turned to the aliens. I think you now understand why humans are uniquely qualified to care for species others consider too dangerous. Zith nodded weakly. Yes, humans are different. He watched as Jun cuddled the deadly creature against his cheek. Very different. That night, Zith sent a report to Union headquarters. Humans don't just tolerate frightening creatures. They love them. They protect them. They call venomous predators Sweetie and Mr. Tickles. I recommend we reconsider all previous assumptions about human psychology. They may be the most fearless or most insane species in the galaxy. The large meeting room at Earth's Space Diplomacy Center buzzed with excitement. Today was special. For the first time, a Graknar delegation had come to Earth for trade talks. Researcher Choi checked her equipment one more time. As a human sinologist, she had waited months for this chance to study Graknar biology up close. Remember the diplomatic protocols, warned her supervisor. The Graknars are proud warriors. Yes, sir, Choi replied, but her eyes sparkled with excitement. Security Officer Yoon stood by the door, watching everyone carefully. Unlike his colleagues, he looked calm. During his 5 years in space security, he had seen many strange aliens. The doors slid open. 4 massive Graknars entered the room. Each stood over 2 meters tall with dark red skin. Their 6 yellow eyes scanned the room. Sharp spines covered their shoulders. Their 4 arms ended in clawed hands. Leading them was Ambassador Krell. His spines were longer than the others, marking his high rank. Greetings, humans, Krell growled. The Graknar Empire agrees to discuss trade terms. The human diplomats bowed respectfully, but researcher Choi stepped forward, her scanner already humming. Ambassador Krell, she said with a wide smile, may I scan your biological structure? Your species has the most adorable spine formation I've ever seen. The room went silent. The Graknars stared at Choi in shock. Adorable. Ambassador Krell's voice was dangerously low. Did you say? Adorable. The human diplomats looked nervous. One tried to pull Choi back, but she continued. Yes, those beautiful yellow eyes, the perfect spine arrangement. In human terms, you're absolutely precious. Ambassador Krell's 6 eyes blinked rapidly. The other Graknars began making low growling sounds. Our appearance, Krell said slowly, has made entire planets surrender without a fight. We are warriors, conquerors. We are feared throughout 12 star systems. Choi nodded enthusiastically. I know. Isn't it wonderful? May I take detailed scans of your spines? They're so perfectly formed. One of the Graknar guards stepped forward angrily. This is an insult. We came to negotiate as feared warriors, not to be called cute. The situation was getting dangerous. Then, Security Officer Yoon calmly walked to a small table and opened his bag. Ambassador Krell, Yoon said politely, perhaps this will help explain. He pulled out several items and placed them on the table. The Graknars moved closer to look. There was a plush toy that looked like a simplified Graknar. Next to it sat a children's lunchbox with smiling Graknar-like creatures painted on it. Yum also placed a comic book showing a heroic monster that resembled a Graknar saving the human city. What is this? Ambassador Krell asked, picking up the plush toy carefully with his clawed hand. On Earth, Yoon explained, features that other species find scary, we often find appealing. Big eyes, unusual body shapes, even teeth and claws. Many humans think these traits are attractive and cute. He showed them pictures on a tablet. Children hugging monster toys. Movie posters where humans befriended giant creatures. Theme parks with rides based on friendly monsters. For thousands of years, Yum continued, humans have turned our fears into things we love. What scares us can also fascinate us. The Graknars looked at each other in confusion. You're saying, Ambassador Krell spoke slowly, that humans see our fearsome warrior bodies as lovable. Exactly, Choi said, still smiling. You're what we would call monster cute, scary but in an appealing way. Ambassador Krell sat heavily in a specially reinforced chair. For a proud Graknar whose entire culture was built on being terrifying, this was difficult to process. Our diplomatic power, he said quietly, has always come from fear. If humans aren't afraid of us, we can still have valuable trade. A human diplomat quickly added, your technology, resources. But we're not scary to you, Krell interrupted. This changes everything. That evening, Ambassador Krell sent a troubled message back to the Graknar homeworld. Urgent cultural crisis. Humans find us cute. Repeat, humans find us cute. Our entire diplomatic approach must be reconsidered. They don't fear our appearance. They want to make toys of us for their children. We face a species unlike any we have encountered before. Professor Lee stood before a room filled with alien scientists. Large screens behind him showed images of Earth animals. His assistant, Min, sat nearby, ready with more data. Thank you for attending this important research meeting, Professor Lee began. Today we will explain why humans react differently to predatory features. Union Science Minister Vex moved forward in his seat. The tall, thin alien had traveled far for this meeting. His own research team had failed to understand human psychology. Please proceed, Professor, Vex said. This question has troubled the Union since first contact. Professor Lee nodded and showed the first image, a large tiger. On Earth, humans evolved alongside dangerous predators, he explained. This tiger can kill a human easily. Yet many humans keep smaller versions, called house cats, as beloved pets. Min changed the screen to show people petting tigers at a sanctuary. Some humans even bond with the large predators. Lee continued, we call this the predator paradox, our ability to fear dangerous creatures while simultaneously finding them appealing. Minister Vex's antenna twitched with interest. But why would this trait evolve? It seems dangerous to approach predators. Professor Lee smiled. An excellent question. Min, please show the next slides. Min displayed images from human history, ancient cave paintings of dangerous animals, Egyptian cat worship statues, and traditional masks with fearsome features. Humans who could understand predators gained advantages, Lee explained. Those who studied dangerous animals learned their behaviors. They could predict movements, avoid attacks, and eventually domesticate some species. Minister Vex leaned forward. So the humans who weren't afraid. Not exactly, Lee interrupted politely. The humans who balanced fear with fascination survived better. Complete fear meant avoiding useful knowledge. No fear meant death. But controlled fear with curiosity was perfect. Min showed more images, early humans hunting alongside domesticated wolves, farmers with working animals, and modern wildlife conservationists. Over thousands of years, Lee continued, this trait became stronger. We began seeing beauty in dangerous things. We created art, stories, and religions around predators. We gave our children toys that look like monsters. One alien scientist raised a tentacle. But when Captain Han met Commander Gruck, he showed no fear at all. Only excitement. Yes, Lee nodded. Modern humans have taken this trait to its final form. We've been apex predators for so long that our fascination now often outweighs our fear, especially with non-Earth species that pose no ancestral threat. Minister Vex stood up suddenly. Do you realize what this means? Humans can form emotional bonds with virtually any species, regardless of appearance. Exactly, Lee said. Where other Union species see monsters, we see potential friends, research subjects, or simply beautiful creatures. Min changed to the final slide. Humans working alongside various alien species, including Graknars. We believe, Lee concluded, that this unique human trait makes us valuable to the galactic community. We can bridge relationships between species that fear each other. After the presentation, Minister Vex approached Professor Lee privately. Your research explains much, Vex said. But there is one thing they still don't understand. How do humans decide which dangerous features are cute? Lee chuckled. That varies by individual. Some humans love extra eyes, others prefer scales or unusual limbs. But generally, anything that is proportionally different from human norms, larger eyes, unusual textures, even fangs, can trigger our cute response. Vex's antenna drooped slightly. By those standards, most union species would be considered cute to humans. Yes, Min agreed, joining the conversation. That's why humans get so excited meeting new alien species. To us, you're all adorably different. That evening, Minister Vex sent his report to Union headquarters. Human evolutionary psychology confirmed. Their response to predatory features is not a defect but an adaptation. This trait allowed them to rise from prey species to planetary dominance. More importantly, it may make them the only species capable of forming positive relationships with all Union members. Recommendation: consider humans for special diplomatic status as interspecies liaisons. Red emergency lights flashed throughout the Union space station. Alarms blared. Alien diplomats rushed to emergency shelters. "They're coming," a station officer shouted. "Harvester ships detected at the edge of our system." Commander Ba watched the chaos from the human section of the station. Her team of 15 stood calmly behind her. "Medic Song," Ba called. "Status report." Medic Song looked up from her medical kit. "All emergency supplies ready, Commander." The station's main screen showed 5 large, strange-looking ships approaching. Their black hulls seemed to absorb light. Sharp, thorn-like structures covered their surfaces. Union Admiral Zex rushed over to the human section. His antenna trembled with fear. "Commander Ba," he said quickly, "you must evacuate with the other diplomats. The harvesters are the most dangerous species in the outer galaxy." Commander Ba studied the screen. "What exactly are we facing, Admiral?" Admiral Zex's voice shook slightly. "The harvesters are parasitic insect-reptile hybrids. They have acid-dripping mandibles and paralyzing stingers. They've destroyed 12 Union outposts in the past year." Medic Song moved closer to the screen. "Have you tried communicating with them?" "Impossible," Admiral Zex replied. "They attack all other life forms. We've lost every diplomatic team we've sent." Commander Ba looked thoughtful. "Were those teams afraid of the harvester's appearance?" "Of course," Zex said. "Any sane being would be." Ba and Song exchanged knowing looks. "Admiral," Ba said calmly, "let my team try to make contact." "That's suicide," Zex protested. "Maybe not," Ba said. "You've learned that humans react differently to beings that others find frightening. Let us use that trait." 20 minutes later, Commander Ba's small ship approached the harvester fleet. Medic Song and 3 other humans were with her. They wore simple protection suits but carried no weapons. Inside their ship, the communication screen showed only static as they tried to contact the harvesters. "We're being scanned," one crew member reported. Suddenly, the screen flickered to life. A creature appeared that made the humans gasp, but not in fear. The being had a large head with compound eyes covering half its face. 6 mandibles clicked around a mouth filled with sharp teeth. Its body was covered in iridescent green and purple scales. "Oh wow," Medic Song whispered. "Look at those beautiful scale patterns." Commander Ba stepped forward. "Greetings. We are humans from Earth, representing ourselves, not the Union. We wish to speak with you peacefully." The creature's mandibles clicked rapidly. A mechanical voice translated. "Why do you approach without weapons? Are you offering yourselves as food?" "No," Ba said with a small smile. "We wish to understand why you've entered this system. We find your species fascinating and would like to learn more." There was a long pause. The creature's compound eyes seemed to study them carefully. "You do not show fear," the translator said finally. "All others flee or attack." "Humans are different," Ba explained. "We appreciate unique life forms." The creature moved closer to its screen. You find our appearance acceptable. Medic Song stepped forward excitedly. Your exoskeleton structure is amazing. And those mandible patterns are absolutely gorgeous. I've never seen such beautiful coloration. The creature went still. The humans waited nervously. Finally, it spoke again. I am the queen of Hive Cluster 6. For 300 cycles, all species have reacted to us with violence or terror. You are different. Commander Ba nodded. We'd like to understand your needs. Why have you come to this system? We seek new flowering worlds for pollination. The queen explained. Our larvae need specific plant proteins. You're not here to conquer? Ba asked. We harvest pollen, not worlds, the queen clicked. But none would listen. All see our form and attack. That evening, Commander Ba sent a message to Union headquarters. First peaceful contact established with harvesters. They're not invaders but pollinators seeking specific plants. Formal negotiations beginning. Note: they were quite pleased when Medic Song called their queen's mandibles adorable. Human ability to appreciate monstrous appearances has opened diplomatic channels thought impossible. Director Park stood proudly in the large conference hall. Around him, hundreds of humans and aliens gathered for the opening of the new Dangerous Species Adoption Initiative. After 6 months of planning, today was the big day. Welcome, everyone, Park said into the microphone. Today we begin a new chapter in galactic cooperation. On the stage behind him stood Hyun, the human-alien relations specialist who had helped create the program. Next to her were representatives from 12 alien species. For too long, Park continued, many wonderful creatures have faced extinction because other species fear them too much to help them. Today, that changes. Large screens around the hall showed images of strange and frightening creatures. Some had multiple limbs with sharp claws. Others had too many eyes or mouths with rows of teeth. All were species that most Union members found terrifying. Humans have a special ability, Park explained. We can see beauty in creatures others find scary. Now, we will use this gift to help endangered species across the galaxy. Hyun stepped forward. The Dangerous Species Adoption Initiative will match human caretakers with creatures that need protection. Each human team will work closely with alien scientists to ensure proper care. An alien diplomat raised a tentacle, but many of these species are extremely dangerous. How will humans protect themselves? Director Park smiled. We've developed special safety protocols. But remember, humans have cared for dangerous Earth creatures for thousands of years. We understand the balance between caution and compassion. Hyun pressed a button on her tablet. The screens changed to show humans already working with alien species. In one video, a human handler fed a creature that looked like a cross between a scorpion and a wolf. In another, a human gently cleaned the scales of a massive serpent-like being with 3 heads. Our first 50 adoption teams are already in place, Hyun announced. Results have been excellent. A blue alien with 4 arms stepped forward on the stage. My name is Ambassador Krill. 3 cycles ago, I thought humans were insane when they called dangerous creatures cute. Now I understand this is their greatest strength. He showed data on his own screen. The spined razorback from my homeworld was down to only 20 individuals. Under human care, there are now 72. The humans even let the babies crawl on them. Murmurs of amazement spread through the crowd. Director Park nodded. Today, we invite all Union species to submit endangered creatures for the program. If other species cannot handle them safely, humans will help. A small, nervous alien approached the microphone. My world has the acid-spitting cave lurker. Only 15 remain. Could humans really help such a dangerous creature? Hyun smiled warmly. Let me show you something. She played a video of a human woman sitting calmly while a creature that looked like a nightmare spider crawled up her arm. The woman was talking softly to it and gently stroking its hairy legs. This is one of your cave lurkers, Hyun explained. Soo-jin here calls him Mr. Fuzzy. She says his acid glands are adorably shiny. The small alien's eyes widened in shock. After the presentation, many aliens approached Director Park with questions and species nominations. "I never thought I'd see this day," said a tall, insect-like alien. "Species we've avoided for generations might be saved because humans think they're cute." Park nodded. "Every creature has value. Sometimes it takes a different perspective to see it." That evening, Hyun updated the program's records. 57 new species had been submitted for adoption. Each one was considered too dangerous, too frightening, or too monstrous by their own neighboring species to save. "Interesting day," Director Park asked, joining her. Hyun smiled. "The Union is calling us monster whisperers now. They've officially recognized humans as having a special ecological role in the galaxy." Park laughed. "Not bad for a species that keeps predators as pets. What others fear, we protect. It's the most human thing we could do." Captain Ju stood on the bridge of the exploration vessel Starseeker*. The ship had traveled farther into deep space than any human vessel before. They were now at the very edge of the galaxy, in the vast darkness between star systems. "Captain," called Kang, the science officer, "I'm detecting unusual energy readings ahead." Captain Ju moved to Kang's station. "What kind of readings?" "Nothing I've seen before," Kang replied, excitement clear in his voice. "The energy patterns don't match any known life form." The main screen showed only empty space, but the sensors told a different story. Something massive was out there. "All crew, prepare for possible first contact," Captain Ju announced. "Stay calm and remember your training." 3 alien officers on the bridge looked nervous. They were Union representatives assigned to the human exploration mission. "Captain," one alien said quietly, "there are old stories about creatures that live in the void between galaxies. Most dismiss them as myths." "What kind of creatures?" Ju asked. "The stories call them void dwellers, ancient beings of enormous size and power. The tales say they drive observers mad with their impossible appearance." Science Officer Kang looked up from his readings with bright eyes. "That sounds fascinating. I hope we get to see them." The alien officers exchanged worried glances. Suddenly, the ship's lights flickered. The main screen filled with swirling colors. Strange shapes began to form, impossible geometries that seemed to fold in on themselves. The image showed massive tentacles that appeared and disappeared, eyes that opened where no eyes should be, and structures that human minds couldn't properly process. The 3 alien officers collapsed, covering their eyes, and moaning in distress. "Amazing," Kang exclaimed, moving closer to the screen. "Look at those tentacle patterns. The way they shift between dimensions is beautiful." Captain Ju stared in wonder. "Those eye formations, they're mesmerizing." "Sir," Kang said excitedly, "I believe we've encountered the void dwellers. Their biology must exist partly in other dimensions, which is why their appearance seems to break the rules of normal space." The ship's communication system crackled with strange sounds. Something was trying to make contact. "Let me try to establish communication," Kang said, working quickly at his station. "I think they're curious about us." The alien officers remained huddled on the floor, unable to look at the screen. "Try sending images," Captain Ju suggested. "Show them we're friendly." Kang nodded and began transmitting pictures from Earth, oceans, forests, cities. Then he added something unexpected. Images of creatures from human mythology that resembled the void dwellers. Ancient paintings of sea monsters, many-eyed gods, and tentacled beasts from human stories. "I'm also sending pictures of plushies and friendly cartoon characters based on these mythical creatures," Kang explained, "to show that humans appreciate beings with unusual appearances." The response was immediate. The swirling patterns on the screen changed. The impossible shapes rearranged into something more structured. A form of communication was beginning. "Captain," Kang said in awe, "they're responding to our mythology images. I think they recognize themselves in our ancient stories." Over the next few hours, while the alien officers received medical care, Captain Zhu and Science Officer Kang worked to establish basic communication with the Void Dwellers. They learned that these ancient beings had existed for millions of years, observing the galaxy from a distance. Why have they never made contact before? Zhu wondered. Kang's face lit up with understanding. Because their appearance drives most species insane. They've tried to communicate before, but other beings couldn't handle seeing them. That night, Captain Zhu recorded a historic message to Earth. First contact established with Void Dwellers. Ancient entities existing partially beyond our dimension. All alien crew members incapacitated by the sight of them, but humans are unaffected. In fact, Science Officer Kang describes them as the most beautiful life forms he's ever seen. Once again, what others find terrifying, we find fascinating. The Void Dwellers seem equally interested in us, the only species that can look at them without fear. 5 years had passed since humans first joined the Galactic Union. Today, the Grand Hall of Union headquarters was packed with representatives from over 100 species. They had gathered for a historic event. Admiral Han, once captain of the Horizon Asterisk, stood tall on the central platform. Around him sat the highest officials of the Union. At his side rested a small container with air holes. Representatives of the galaxy, began Union High Chancellor Zex. Today we recognize humanity's unique contribution to our community. The massive screens around the hall showed images from the past 5 years. Humans working with the most feared creatures in the galaxy, peaceful meetings with previously hostile species, and conservation efforts that had saved dozens of endangered monsters. When humans first joined us, Chancellor Zex continued, we thought their reaction to frightening creatures was strange, perhaps even a mental defect. We were wrong. Admiral Han stepped forward. Thank you, Chancellor. In the 5 years since first contact, humans have found their place in the galactic community. We never expected it would be as friends to those others fear. The crowd murmured in agreement. In the front row sat representatives of species that had once been isolated or feared. Graknars, harvesters, and even a modified projection of a Void Dweller, its appearance altered to be viewable by non-humans. Humans have built bridges between species that never spoke before, Han continued. We've saved creatures facing extinction because no one else could approach them. We've translated for beings whose appearance made communication impossible. Chancellor Zex raised all 4 of his hands. Today, we officially designate humans as Guardians of the Monstrous, a sacred title that recognizes their unique ability to protect and communicate with species others find terrifying. The crowd erupted in applause. Admiral Han bent down and opened the small container beside him. He gently lifted out a tiny creature that looked like a ball of black fur with too many red eyes and small sharp teeth. This is Bitey, Han said, holding the creature up for all to see. The last of the shadow nibblers from the quantum wastes. Other species couldn't save them because their appearance causes panic. Humans have now helped them recover to over 50 individuals. Han gently stroked the creature, which made a purring sound and nuzzled against his hand. The Graknar ambassador, Krell, approached the platform. He looked different now, his spines decorated with colorful bands, his fierce appearance softened by small touches that made him look more appealing to human eyes. When humans first called us adorable, we were offended, Krell said to the assembly. Now, the Graknar Empire produces plushies of ourselves as diplomatic gifts. We have learned that being appreciated is better than being feared. From the back of the hall, a communication officer rushed forward with an urgent message for Admiral Han. After reading it, Han turned to the Chancellor. A new spacefaring species has been discovered at the edge of Union space, Han announced. Initial reports say they resemble giant arachnids with acid glands and multiple mouthparts. 3 Union scout ships retreated after crews suffered panic attacks just from the visual contact. Chancellor Zex nodded in understanding. And the human response? Admiral Han smiled. Our diplomatic team is already preparing welcome packages. The lead ambassador called them precious spider babies and asked if they can bring plushies as gifts. The hall filled with laughter, a sound that would have been impossible before humans joined the Union. As the ceremony concluded, Chancellor Zex made the final proclamation. 5 years ago, the galaxy learned that humans think monsters are adorable. Today, we recognize that this trait has made the galaxy a better place for all species, even the monstrous ones. Admiral Hand looked out at the diverse assembly. So many different forms and shapes, each beautiful in their own way. In human history, he said softly, we have a saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Perhaps humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy is teaching everyone to see beauty in the things they once feared. ***, the end ***.